Hello and welcome to the second round of the Global Rallycross Championship powered by Core. We're here today at Suzuka East and we're lining up ready for the Power Lap qualifying.
Well, yes, hello Ethan. Thank you for joining alongside us here today then for the Core Global Rallycross Championship. We had a phenomenal race last time out at Madrid, and here we are again then at one of the best tracks in the world for racing, the Suzuka short circuit. Of course, we've got this power lap happening now then. The cars will go on a power lap. The fastest qualifier will, of course, head on to pole position for the first race of the action. We'll talk you through the format again, however, as the evening goes on.
Yes, of course, tonight we have one cut section, so we'll be cutting out between turns 2 and 3 tonight. So we're running over the grass patch, so if you think that the cars have gone off in that section, they haven't. They're taking the actual track and how it should be. It's not the drivers making a mistake.
And then your joker lap is when you go around it again.
No, we don't have a joker lap tonight. I believe it's just a cut. There's no joker for this race. But as we see, Mateus now finishing up his lap, and we shall soon be seeing how the order shakes up. At the moment, Chuck is ahead of Mateus, so obviously Chuck's got a better lap in this time. Chuck had a decent first round at Madrid. He managed to qualify for the supercar final, and then unfortunately caught the wall on the first lap. He made an excellent start and then just overcooked it into turn 2, and that was the end of his final. But he seems to have had a decent lap this time, as we can see.
But of course, we're going to quickly here, Ethan, talk through the event format when he's new to this Global Rallycross Championship. So the kind of event hit starts with the front wheel drive car. There'll be a 15-minute qualifying session, which actually now been dropped down here then to 5 minutes or so, and with this power lap session to decide the grid position. Everyone races from start with a 6-lap race, whoever they qualified in that one. The top 8 will qualify for the Rallycross cars, whereas the bottom 8 in that next race will qualify for the World Rally Championship Classics. The elimination round has been extended to 8 laps for this event. 8 cars race for the top 5 spots in that one. The top 5 cars will qualify for the next and final round. Then in the final, the drivers from the original top 8 who qualified in the top 5 will now race in the top Group B event, and then the bottom half will race in the other event for the lower drivers.
Yes, as we only have 8 cars tonight, the split will be probably 4 and 4 for the first round. So we'll see 4 cars qualify through to the World Rallycross Classics, and then in the top class for the second round we'll have the Rallycross full Rallycross cars. As we're now seeing the last few cars taking part in their qualifying lap.
Merlin Richards is his championship, and he's Merlin Richards has popped in there with a handy time there. It's about half a second there ahead of Glenhouse. Now Merlin was one of these drivers who didn't have better luck last time out. He definitely weren't getting up to grips with the championship, and he did face some issues, but he's here now, top of the leaderboard. Jeremy, the last car to come through. Now we are expecting great things today from Jeremy, one of the top riders in the top drivers in the championship based on last time's performance. However, we just seen RCB pop in front now of Merlin, 0.3 of a second faster. Jeremy, however, now just coming round the final 2 corners. This one will be interesting to see. Where do you think he'll pop up? First, second, third, who knows?
I think he'll be second, looking at his split times. He's a little bit down on RCB, but of course he didn't have a great first qualifying last time, and he ended up being the winner of the... Oh no, he takes pole. I'm completely incorrect. He had a fantastic final sector.
He must have had a mental final sector there to pop in front. The gap there at the line, 1/10 of a second.
2/10 of a second.
2/10 of a second even. So
yes, so
a very close gap indeed there.
It was a very good lap from all the drivers. No one seemed to have too many issues, and the field covered by just over 2 seconds tonight. And we shall be looking forward to seeing everyone out qualifying. We now have a minute break
before we head on to the first. We now head on then to the first round. Of course, they're back in these cars, the front-wheel drive cars. The top 4 will be sent into the top elimination race, whereas the bottom 4 will head into the second elimination race. So even if you don't finish within the top 4 in this race, then your evening won't be over, because there will still be ways, won't there, to get into that final, even if you don't make the top 4 in the qualifying or in the next race.
Well, as we saw with Chuck last time out, he qualified in the bottom 4 in the first race, and then in the second race beat one of the cars in the upper class and managed to jump up into the supercar final. So, no matter where, as long as you're not eliminated in round 2, you can end up in the top final even when you haven't had a great first race. The first,
So the first race is sort of practice run for the drivers to make sure that they're all happy with the circumstances. The big deal really comes after the first race and heading into race 2.
Yes, race 2 is going to be where we sort out the running order and who's going to be in the fire breathing Group Bs and who's going to be in the rallycross cars, which are a challenge as well to drive. I mean, they're no slouches, but those Group B rallycross cars are definitely the cars everyone wants to get into. They're the fire breathing monsters of the late 80s.
Well, here we go then. So the starting grid then ahead of this first race. I'm not going to get ahead of myself this time. We'll wait for them to line up on the grid. Jeremy taking the pole position in that qualifying session. RCB there in second. Merlin Richards, head of the series there in third position. Glenn 81. We've seen him in the World Endurance Championship. Let's see what he can do, however, here at the Global Rallycross Championship. So, of course, even though the screen will say start, we do have 1 minute until the start of the race. The cars will get into a 3x3 or a 4x4 formation based on the track size here. So we come up to the start line now. Who's your money on then so far for this race? Jamie definitely held some good form from last time out. However, Merlin looks quite good tonight. So does RCB. So who's your money on this evening?
Well, Jamie does seem to be the man at the moment, as we see them lining up in a 3x3 formation. There'll be 2 cars at the back, but yes, I think Jamie will probably take this first race, followed by RCB. Merlin Richards, he's shown some of that pace tonight that we expected from him. He's a bit of a rallying specialist. It's his favourite type of motorsport. We've seen him in the World Endurance Championship as a GT driver before, but he's definitely, his preferred style of driving is when it's a bit more slippy and a bit less tarmac based.
So sorry to interrupt you, Ethan, but the race has just got underway and Jamie appears has had a monster start straight off the line. The wheel's been kicked up there. Jamie appears on the inside here, so it's going to be interesting to see how he can defend from the cars behind him as they dive, of course, into turn number 1. Then they'll flick it into turn number 2, and then, of course, they cut with this gap between turn number 2 and turn number 3 straight onto the grass. Cars bogged out wide slightly here, but as they head up onto the circuit once again, the camera there just flicking over so we can see the drivers' names there. Yes, Jamie taking the lead early on. Merlin Richards, however, has jumped RCB there, who is currently in third position. There are, however, battles behind. Chuck, Legacy, Glenn House, they're all getting involved there down in the
Chuck's
midfield.
fallen down the order. I think Chuck may have had a bad start. He seems to have either had a spin or gone out wide somewhere, because he's fallen from 4th position down all the way down to 8th, and as he's come over the line.
He was up there in about 3rd or 4th at one point, so I can guarantee he's probably just put a wheel down into the dirt, perhaps just lost control of the back end slightly, and he's still on the tail of the pack though, because according to the driver tracker there on the left hand side, the cars are still next door to each other, so this is going to be interesting to see. But out front, Jamie has pulled away 3-4 tenths of a second gap on behind. Merlin Richards doing some defending, however, because here comes RCB now right behind. He's definitely looking racy today and definitely wants to try and find a way past Merlin in front.
Yes, definitely Merlin got the better start. He was on the outside instead of RCB, who was in the middle, and I think maybe that helped him. RCB might have got a bit pinched into turn 1. Merlin could hang it round the outside. As we see it, there's FRT Legacy.
That's Legacy. He's gone. He came out the final corner, just got a bit sideways, perhaps a wheel on the dirt, flipped the car around straight into the gravel trap there, and Legacy has lost positions to Matthias. He's lost positions to XC, he's lost positions. Chuck is standing now in 8th position, but looking back again at the battle out front, RCB is closer this time round to Merlin Richards than he was last time around, so perhaps this is where the move will come.
Yeah, he'll be trying to get it done before the end of the lap and try and then close the gap down to Jamie. Just show him that he's still there, that Jamie isn't going to have it all. Oh, Merlin's made a mistake. That was all he needed.
Merlin, again, he just dips a wheel onto that dirt and it flicks you. And especially with this Suzuka circuit, that section is so technical that even if you put one wheel wrong, you're going to compromise your run going into the next section. So it's definitely one of the more complicated circuits to get wrong. Whereas, of course, last time I was at Madrid, you had the walls to kind of knock you back in place if you went wide. Now, you don't have that advantage.
Well, it's not so much of an advantage having walls there. I'd say that was a complete disadvantage to be having to use the walls. And as you can see, Merlin Ridge is there, just getting the back end out again. He's trying to get the nose in faster than RCB so he can drive it up the inside. But I think he's going to have to just accept third position. It's a good position. It gets him into the next stage.
Well, exactly. Does it really matter coming first, second, third or fourth in this heat? Because it still gets you into the top class. So there's not kind of at this stage much to race about so far.
Well, yes, but you know, it's all worth points and honour, and everyone wants to do well. But as we see, Jamie's going to come across the line now. It was a good first round from him. Pole and the win. That's all he needs to do. He wants 2 more races like that tonight, and then he's golden.
Jamie taking a victory then in the first race here today. RCB coming through in second position. Merlin Richards, the head of the series, of course, the British driver, finishing there in third position. Glenn Howes 81 in fourth. Matthias there in fifth position, so a strong result for him in that one. Sixth is XT, seventh Chuck, and then Legacy with that spin. He never fully recovered. Look at that, 15 seconds behind the leader, 6 seconds behind Chuck, who was the nearest car in front of him.
Yes, that's the problem with the spin here. It's such a short circuit and such a short race that one small spin and you've kind of had it. You won't have the time to catch that up. You've got to be on it all the way through. And unfortunately, Legacy just got hung up to dry there on the outside and didn't quite wasn't able to get the car back on line, and he just ran wide. Got pitched into a spin a little bit possibly. We couldn't quite see the angle. We just saw the car go wide into a bit of a spin onto the gravel. But unfortunately, yeah, that was the end of his race tonight. And like I say, we'll see what happens in the next round. Of course, everyone moves through to the next round now. So we'll have the top 4 cars in the Rallycross spec cars, and we'll have the bottom 4 cars in the Rallycross lights. And we shall be looking forward to
look, with a race a minute ago, that race 4.5 minutes long with 4 laps. So these next races, with 8 laps, will only be 10-minute races. Now, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, that's not long enough really to catch a car in front if you made a mistake. So, you know, mistakes here, they're key that you make sure that you don't have them. It's key that you make sure that you get there, have a clean race, and just stay on the track, really.
It's most key that you just keep the car going in the right direction. It's even if you haven't got the ultimate pace, if you can stay on the track and someone else makes a mistake, that's pretty much a position got. You know, you're not going to lose that through pace if someone's come off and lost 10 seconds. You know, there isn't the time to catch that up in such a short circuit. You may lose a couple of seconds as they charge back towards you, but, you know, they can't make that gap up, especially if they've maybe hit a wall or hit another car, then their race is over and they have to struggle back to wherever they can be. But it's definitely not easy to get back into a race if you've had a spin early on.
Legacy there, he's just saying how many get eliminated. Well, none out of this first race. It's the next race that get eliminated. 2 from the next one, because of course there is only 8 drivers. So therefore, is that... Just explain now then what happens, the procedure then, Ethan, going into this next few races.
Well, the next race we'll see the top 4 cars in the Rallycross cars and the bottom 4 cars in the Rallycross lights. The Rallycross light cars will be fighting to not be eliminated, while the Rallycross pro cars, as such, the full Rallycross spec cars, will be fighting for the Flamer lap, which is an extra 3 points to the person who gets the fastest lap.
Right, so as the cars now then they're in the pit lane there, getting ready to head out. It'll be interesting to see how the head of the series down there, Merlin's going to sort out who is supposed to be in what car, because last time out that did spark a bit of controversy with Duke Adam going into different cars. So here we go, Legacy now then just questioning, does the top 4 go into the Super Rally? Yes, they do. So definitely something to keep an eye on. Then these Super Rally cars will definitely be a handful around this tight, twisty Suzuka circuit.
Yes, we'll see some tyre smoke, we'll see some sideways action, and well, hopefully no crashes, but we'll see some, you know, exhilarating action. as the drivers duke it out on such a tight and twisty track. You know, we've got our first little taste of dirt this weekend, this weekday, and it's going to be absolutely thrilling to watch those cars go through the dirt section. It's not really a corner so much this time, it's more like a dirt splash as such, you could say. It's just a patch of dirt just to unsettle the cars. You know, you've got to get it lined up as you come out of turn 2 across the gravel, across the grass, sorry. It's definitely going to be interesting to see if we can keep those super rally cars, you know, those 500 horsepower cars pointing on the straight and narrow. But it's definitely going to be really something worth watching, and I'm looking forward to that. But like I say, this round, I think we'll start to see a little bit better of the order and how people have set their cars up. Of course, for the first round, the cars are almost all identical because they're in the same car. It's just how people set them up a little bit differently. But this round, we'll start to see the strengths of different cars and how people have tuned or decided upon their car. The longer wheelbase cars will be a little bit more stable, but they won't have quite the same darting, nimble ability of the short wheel-based cars. We'll see how people have set their differentials, how they've done the weights, the power split. Some cars might have gone for a more rearward power balance to get a better feeling through the tarmac sections, while some people have gone closer to 50-50 for that launch and the grip across the grass section. But we're now ready to come up to the race any minute now. Like Luke said in the first round, when it comes up with start, it's not actually the start of the race, and we'll be seeing the cars line up on the grid.
Well, here they come then. So it appears now all the issues have been sorted. We know what cars are going to be racing where. Again, it's all kind of Merlin Richards down there running the show, making sure it's all running okay down there. The series director, of course, he's had quite a strong showing in this one. There was slight camera issues at the moment, because we're looking at turn 1 when the action has started. We're just ready now. No, we've got that 30-second warning. So, of course, the WRC, the top category, are in the WRC cars towards the front. The lights are in the back, as you can see the Suzuki Swift there in the background. But the main action out front will be happening with the first row and the middle there of the second row. So make sure you keep your eyes peeled on all classes here for this one. We've got 10-second warning out there on circuit now. So Merlin Richards, Jamley, RCB and Glenhouse in the... No, Glenhouse isn't in the main category, he's in the lower one, I believe. So this is definitely something to keep an eye out for. And it lights out, away we go.
And RCB jumps Jamley at the start this time. He's got a better launch. He's got a mega launch out of there. He's in the
However,
middle.
Jamley's going to have the inside. Sorry, Jamley has the inside. Is he going to squeeze RCB?
Oh,
yes, RCB's gone. It's RCB. Jamley just squeezed him slightly on the exit. And as he did it, now Jamley will take the lead. But now, can RCB cut back? It's now Merlin. Merlin has capitalised out of all of it, taking the lead. Where's Jamley in all this? I think it's been bogged down slightly. And now comes RCB as well. Glenhouse trying to go around the outside and have the inside for next corner. Madness here so far at the Suzuka circuit. We've got its own battle behind. Go on, Ethan.
RCB has gone off completely into the gravel. That has been a shocker of a first lap for him. And of course, this is the elimination race. If he can't get that car back up into 6th position, he's gone.
That's it. He's going home. He is going home after the second race here today. But did you just see those World Rally cars drifting there around the final? They're definitely trying to get the back out.
Definitely.
However, you're going to be risking quite a bit doing that, because if you're getting the car sideways slightly, what happens if you can't hold that and then you're gone, losing more time? So it had its benefits. You might gain some speed, but then you might also lose more time as well in the process.
As we see, RCB has made it back to 6th. Has he got damage on that car, which may cost him time? Of course, he's in the higher class of cars, so it's going to require a lot for him not to be able to catch up these lower class cars. But of course, he's going to be
when he gets up towards the front cars, because look at that gap now. He's got to close up on the front 3 here. Merlin's still leading. Jamley's still defending hard from Glenhouse there in 3rd position. Now,
as we see those.
Is Glenhouse in the top category? Yes, he is.
Jamley puts a wheel into the grass there. That was a bit of a mistake there from the Finnish driver. He's obviously under some immense pressure from the Peugeot 206 driver there, Glenhouse. The Scotsman is driving well in this second round. We didn't really see him feature much in the first round, but he hung on there, got the 4th, and now he's really featuring in this top class second round.
Well, again, it doesn't really matter now where you finish in this one. It's all about getting back into that final. It's sort of like the Formula One qualifying format, in which is kind of as long as you're in the top 10 or 4 here in this scenario.
Mateus has gone off. Mateus has had a crash. I'm just sorry to cut over you there, Luke.
Yeah, no worries.
Mateus has just put it into the wall, and that's thrown away what was a good drive. He was in the lead of the lights category, and that has really thrown away his chances of that win. He's now
Legacy is going to be leading the lights category. So Legacy there is on top. You can see now. Here comes Matthias trying to find a way back into it. He has got XT just in front of him, but this is all allowing Legacy to just pull away out front and then just try and sustain that gap out front.
Yes, it definitely is. He's just got to keep it going, and now it's all about the others to put in the work. But this could be a real kind of boost for XT, of course, who was in 6th and was facing elimination. If Matthias can't get back on terms with XT, then XT is going to go through and Matthias is going to be out, and it's going to be pretty much his own fault. Unfortunately, he's made a mistake all on his own. He had the class lead, and now he's got to fight that back. But as we go back to the top class, we're just having a quick look to see if the positions have changed. Now Merlin Richards is still out in the front. He's got a small gap there, as Jamie is again pulling. He's starting to show that speed. He's starting to flex those muscles. He's lost the pressure.
Glenhouse is still there, however. Jamie hasn't escaped him, so Glenhouse could be a threat here towards the latter stage of this race. 1.5 laps to go, so it's going to be interesting to see who will be able to hold on here and who will have the advantage in going into the final lap. Merlin Richards has pulled away out front. How far is RCB behind Glenhouse, however? Could he challenge going into the final stages of this race?
Yeah, he's about a corner behind the other 3 in the class.
Yes.
He's well back. He's done well to gain some of that time back, but no, he's definitely in a solid 4th position. It would require a crash up front to get into the top 3, but of course he'll go through anyway. He just he's not in such a good position.
So the bottom 2 here, in fact, Matthias has actually dropped back quite significantly from XT, so it appears that the 2 eliminations, Chuck and Matthias, have pretty much been decided, because it's going to take a monster final lap now, or a mistake by XT, in order to get those 2 onto that top 2 in the lights category to stay in the competition.
Yes, definitely would require a bit more. Glenhouse has a big mistake.
Glenhouse is very loose, and now here comes RCB. Is he close enough to get into it? The curse of the commentator there. We just said he's safe, and now look, he's got some pressure, but he should just be able to hold on with only 2 corners to go. 1 or 2 more laps, and that might have been game over for Glenhouse.
Yeah, eyes wider than they needed to be there. He was probably so
however, he's got a good run here. RCB's getting quite a good run. Could he clinch it on the line and use the outside? He hasn't done it. Just. Did Glenhouse hold on there? Just.
That was a little bit frisky from the 2 drivers, a bit feisty. There was a bit of contact that really didn't need to be there.
Legacy.
That was yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but Legacy's just won the lights category, so has XT. So unfortunately, Chuck and Matthias have been eliminated from the competition. It appears that Matthias has crashed at some point during a lap because Chuck was behind him.
It seems Matthias tried to throw everything at it on that last lap, and it really backfired for him. But if you're in the elimination positions anyway, you might as well go for it.
Nothing to lose, is there?
That last day,
you might as well go down and try him.
I know that.
Yeah, definitely. That was a good race though. It was good to see Merlin getting a good round. He had a bit of trouble last time out. It was good to see him flexing his muscles. He got a decent start, but more importantly is the other 2 came together and he just put the car where it needed to be on the inside and just drove away. He had the speed. He just was given the opportunity and off he went. There was no stopping him once he was out front. Jamie couldn't quite get back on turn. And that was really impressive drive there from series owner Merlin Richards.
Well, a great race as well. We had some good racing from everyone down there. People seemed happy with the action. Good side by side as well. So all in all, a great race here at the Suzuka circuit. It's going to be interesting to see how that can be topped heading into the next race. So just talk us through here the process. It appears that the top 3 head into the super category, the bottom 3 head into the smaller category. So then just talk us through here then the format heading into the next race. Ethan.
So we're going to see the, I think it's believed the top 3 going up into the supercars, and the bottom 3 will be in the rallycross cars again. I may be incorrect on that, but that would keep the split equal as we're losing 2 cars into this round. Hopefully someone can update me on core headquarters if I'm incorrect there. That's my understanding of it. Yeah, it was top 3 supers, bottom 3 rallycross WRX. So yes, that's going to be 3 by 3. We shall see 3 Group B cars, or Super Rally cars, sorry. And 3 rallycross spec cars. I'm looking forward to this. I believe we will be having 2 Audi S1s
You get a good run off the first corner on the first lap. You get a good fucking
and 1 Peugeot 205 in the supercars. I'm not so sure about in the rallycross cars. I can't remember quite so accurately who was driving what last time, but I'm pretty sure we'll be seeing 2 Audi S1 rally cars, the Audi Quattro, Group B car, and the Peugeot 205 Type B Evolution 2. It's got a lot of anacronyms on the end of it, but it's one of my favourite Group B cars of all time, just because putting a 20.
It was a good race, son. Believe it or not, I still don't think I'm out of it just yet.
So yeah, that's definitely a really good car. Unfortunately, we've just lost our pictures here.
I've just lost the pictures here in the commentary box. I'm hoping that it's okay for everyone else out there who is watching on the live stream. But we'll try and fill the time anyway, so it'll be interesting to see what is going on down there. But back with the action then, Ethan. Jamie is showing some good form going into it as well. We've had RCB showing some good form. We've had Merlin showing some good form. So this will be very interesting indeed now to see who will have the advantage going into this race. And now it's just a waiting game to find out when the next race will be going on and who will be successful in it when it happens.
Yeah, I think we have 2 minutes until the next race, and I guess the most important question now is to ask you, who do you think is going to take it in each class?
Well, it's going to be a hard one. I think that Jamie has the upper hand here today, because look at Madrid, Jamie was consistent. However, look at what happened at during the last race. Jamie was defending quite a lot as well. So therefore, perhaps he hasn't got it in him today. But then Merlin has shown some good form here today as well. Series director, he knows the championship like the back of my hand. However, I'm going to have to go with Jamie because he's definitely had some form in the past. He definitely seems like the right man for the job. So I'm going to have to say Jamie here.
I think your logic is perfectly sound there. I think Jamie's my pick as well.
And legacy for the lower category because he was dominant in that past race and maintained the gap throughout the whole distance.
You see, I would go RCB for the lower category. I think he'll have a better run of it this time. He's had the pace. He just had that bad race last time, and it cost him.
He had that one mistake that maintained again. Going for it too early on, lose it, and then you can't get back into it. Being only a short race, 6 or 7 minutes long, it is advisable just kind of keep it on the track and then go for it perhaps in the last lap. Just make sure that you have a car to compete in the last few laps to really throw your challenge at it.
Well, it's all about just getting into those positions you need to be in, and it seemed RCB pushed a little too hard maybe to get the win. He wanted the glory of the win instead of the level-headed approach. He's one of our more youthful drivers, and I think that little bit of inexperience might have cost him there. But he should do well in the final for the rallycross cars, and we shall probably see him in the supercar final in the next round out. But for now, we've got 14 seconds till we're lining up for the grid. I think it's going to be...
To viewers who haven't seen this championship before, Matthias and Chuck, who finished the 7th and 8th in that last race, they have now been eliminated. So it's just the top 6 drivers, the top 3 there on your right-hand side of the screen, or it was on the right-hand side of the screen, will be in the top category. The bottom 3 there will be in the lower category. And this is where now the excitement builds here, because the top what is it? Top 2 drivers heading to the final.
No, we are in the final now.
This is the final, right?
This is the final. We're already there. It's blown by. It's incredible how fast it's gone. Like I say,
only a half an hour race meeting. This one.
Yes.
So it will be 8 laps of the circuit. A bit of confusion there. Jamie not really knowing where it's going by the looks of it, but now it's in place. So then the front 3 cars are in the Group P cars. They are in the final here of this one in the top category. The bottom 3 cars there are in the lower category, and look how important it is to get into that top 3, because RCB has been pretty strong throughout the whole day. However, that one mistake has cost him, and now he will not take part in the top category but instead in the lower category.
Yep. So we've got the 3 supercars in the front row. We've got the 3 rallycross cars in the back row. I'm taking Jamie for the winner in superclass, and RCB the winner in the bottom class. We've got.
And I'm going to go with Jamie in the top class, Legacy in the bottom class. However, watch for Merlin Richards on the inside. Definitely one of the best places to be.
Lights up,
Glenn
and
out
we are away.
on the inside as well. Lights out, and away we go then for the final of the Global Rallycross round 2 here from Suzuka, and it appears as if it's a good start by Jamie there. He seems to have got the jump on Merlin Richards out front. He's coming back at him, however, and they dive down into turn number 1 for the first time. Who's leading Ethan? I can't quite make it out. My screen's
Jamie
gone
has
exactly.
just about swept around the outside. Of course, we've now got to go into a right-hander instead of a left. So now Jamie's going to be slightly on the outside, but it's all about that transition.
And he's got it behind between Merlin and
Glenn. There was big
Glenn's
contact.
got down to 5th.
That was a
So Legacy leading. Legacy's leading in the lower category. What did I just say? Round they come here then, round the final 2 corners for the first time. Legacy's dropped back a bit and he's still losing. Oh no, he's trying to make up some ground now. He is back up here to 3rd, but he would have lost quite a... Oh no, we're not talking about Legacy, we're talking about Glenn House.
And Legacy's just gone off. Legacy's just made a mistake. So now it's RCB in the lead. After a terrible start, he's managed to get up into the lead of the class. So it's going to be really interesting to see. Can Legacy find some pace and clutch him back down? The same with Merlin. Can he close down Jamie? I'm not sure what the gap is between those 2 cars, but it looked like it was going to be huge.
Well, it's quite hefty. Looking at the driver tracker, that's got to be a good half a second to 0.6 of a second. So as long as Jamie now keeps it on the black stuff, he should hold on. There's the gap out front. Look at that. So it appears to me as if Jamie has this race pretty much under control. It's a battle. They cut off. Oh, whoa! Massive accident there. Who was that for?
That was, I think that was Merlin. I'm not 100% sure. We got a bit of a delay.
Merlin said he's back in 2nd position, so it can't have been. It did. Was that just me, or did we see a car veer off to the right and make contact with a wall?
It did look like a car turned right at a left-hand corner. I will admit that did look slightly suspicious.
We've got a car who's behind slightly. Is that XT's dropped back a bit on the driver tracker? But perhaps we'll be able to get some more information on that later on, because it appeared on my screen as if a car turned right at a left-hander. So definitely not the best way to go. However, because of all the dirt being kicked up, then it might be deceiving. So don't hold me to anything just yet. Is Merlin now trying to close up again on Jamie, but he's now got Glenn out behind him.
Was that Merlin go off? It looked again like Merlin just went off. I think
it as if Merlin just nearly hit a wall. He's gone off again. It's out the final corner. Now he has actually gone off, because now Glenn has gone through, and so is that RCB.
No, he hasn't. He's lagged back in front. That's some horrendous lag for the drivers to have to deal with. This is Well,
according to my screen, he's all over the shot. He's sideways, all down the straight. Now I don't know what viewers at home can see, but this is the most confusing lap ever in my commentary career. So we'll have to
definitely not simple. But we're now on board with RCB, who's leading the rallycross category. He's done a very good job. He had a bad start, but I think that actually helped him, because it meant he could avoid all the carnage that turned up. Though he's now kind of become part of the carnage of the lag. And Jamie's down to 6th. Jamie's down to 6th. What the? I didn't see that happen. Did he get taken out by lag?
I was about to say that Jamie's the only one who's not suffering any issues here, but now he's dropped down to 6th himself. Who's leading? It's Glenn now. Now it's Merlin, and RCB's up to 3rd. There's Jamie. Now Jamie has gone off because there hasn't lagged back up again. Where is Glenn Owls in 2nd position? So who's leading it? Merlin. Merlin's leading
with the Peugeot lag. It seems to be the 205 Lagmobile is
definitely
winning this.
I've dropped in front now. Look at it. So this team.
Whoa!
There's Glenhouse. Has he made contact with someone? No, he hasn't. He's just gone straight off into the walls. And now it's going to be RCB taking second. Now then, if RCB can stand the road here, he might actually get an overall win here. If all the cars are dropping off.
Wow, that's game over. It looks like Glenhouse is taking no further part in that. That looks like his car has been utterly destroyed. Yeah, this is only RCB's dropped to third as well. So
XT, where has XT come from here? It's been nowhere all day, and now he's popped up to lead the Rallycross and second overall.
Legacy is leading overall. The bottom class is now leading. No,
don't hold you, because Berlin will pop back up there in a minute, surely. What is going on? So it's all the Rallycross, Legacy leading, XT second, RCB third. So the bottom category in the Rallycross, in the slower cars, leading the way here, first, second and third, because the Group B cars in the top category are just dropping off like flies here.
It seems we've had some monumental lag, and it's destroyed the race for both Jamie and Glenn.
The thing is, perhaps the lag is affecting the drivers slightly, because they're confused with what's going on. They keep looking at the scoreboard. They're not watching where they're going, and they're losing the ground. It just Legacy leading overall, XT in second, RCB in third. What is happening here?
I honestly don't know, but that has definitely been one of the weirdest races I've ever seen. I think what's happened is Merlin has lag bashed Jamie and Glenhouse at some point, which put them to the back, and at some point I think maybe the lag actually counted for something, and
Merlin's all over the shot again.
Yeah, I think Merlin might have taken some damage himself.
Now, because of the lag, would we perhaps be in a situation to do a restart, to do something like that, or would this now all count and go ahead as usual?
I honestly don't know, and we'll see what the drivers bring up at the end of the race. But that was, wow, that is something totally different. I haven't seen before from any event I've had to commentate over. That was
well, it's not even finished yet, because you've got one more lap to go, so God knows what's going to happen in this final lap. We might even have some more action, so make sure that you don't go anywhere in this one, because Legacy's still leading. The gap leading by quite a hefty margin as well, so it appears then that Legacy is going to cruise to not only a Rallycross win, but an overall win here today. So, just as I said it, Merlin's going slowly, stopped, and he's now given up on that second place in the supercar category. Perhaps he's going to head down to the stewart's office and make an inquiry about what's happened. Jamie will come through to win the supercar category, so that will still count, however, as a win for Jamie in his class, but it won't be an overall win.
No, it won't be.
What he wanted.
Yeah, it's definitely not an overall win, but
still a class win. But Merlin, why did he stop? Because he would have came through to get second place in class, which isn't a bad result.
He will still get second, because Glenhouse stopped 3 laps beforehand. He stopped the moment he got the contact. It destroyed the front end of his car.
Well, they come across the line. Legacy taking the victory in the final of the core Global Rallycross Championship, just as I said it, Ethan. So just gloating a bit there. So Legacy topping the leaderboard, XT there in second position, RCB in third. All three Rallycross drivers first, second and third. And then the faster category behind in the Group B cars, Jamie finishing first in the supercar category, fourth overall. Merlin coming through in second place. Well, not coming through because he stopped out on track. And then Glenhouse there, sixth position overall, third in the supercar. What a weird race. And what happened there?
Bam, bam.